Piper Carter, vegan, plant-based foods. You can find The Kitchen with Q on, let's see, where is that at? That's on Woodward, not that far from West Grand Boulevard. So right there, check them out. Definitely a good lunchtime eatery. And you can experience the food for yourself. Take a friend, get people connected. We do have some good food. So with this, it's a little bit technical. My name is Kari Frazier of Detroit is Different. So that's what's up. And I'm going to be like guest number one. It's going to be like a rotation of guests as the Piper Carter podcast is taking on many forms. So we're going to have some fun. This is going to be like a walk down memory lane for you all that have tuned into the podcast. If you haven't, it definitely should be a catalyst to want to check it out because Piper is a lot of things. Piper is hip hop. Piper is environmental justice. Piper's a little New York, and she's also a whole lot of Northwestern. And Piper is everybody's friend, always great laugh, always great energy, healing, meditation. Piper's Piper, you know what I'm saying? So this will be an extension of that. So the first thing we're going to do is this is being live streamed too. So that means that we will be here, but we're also in the internets. So for that, we want the experience here to come on up front. You guys are sitting in the back of the bus like it's Mississippi or something, and y'all can't come. So let's get some people up front. Let's get some people up front. Let's get some people up front. Come on, come on. The up front music. Doom, 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 doom. All right, you know Kim Sharobi always keeps some music on her. All right, we still see people in the back. Come on, move up front. You know you're supposed to definitely be up front, Deja, because you're going to be one of the people at the table. Exactly, exactly. You was going to let other people, yes. Let's move up front. And nobody got cooties or nothing, you know. So this is the best move up front move that I can make, Piper. All right, so the other thing, bathroom, as we know, all the way to the back. I would suggest just keep in mind that cameras are on the, I guess we would call this would be stage right, but it's when you stand up, so it'll be to your right. But just keep in mind the cameras are there and we may be shifting, so don't find yourself standing too much and standing up too much or too often because we may be catching a shot from the back of the room to the front of the room. Also, bathroom outside. Y'all can figure that out. And more so than the bathroom, we also are in the space of the U of M Michigan Detroit Center. So I don't know if we're getting Steven or Craig to speak on that, but Steven, Dr. Ward, come on up and speak to that. And you help me set my camera shot on shot 3. Hold on. So when you speak, you're going to approach that microphone just like Steven did.
Okay, Kari, I'm going to talk slowly to give you time to get set up. But I don't have anything to say other than welcome. You are at the University of Michigan Detroit Center, and you are with the Semester in Detroit program. All the students in the program are here, and we're glad to be here with you and to be celebrating Piper's 5th of many. So welcome and thank you, Kari and everyone.
All right. Okay, so with that being said, now it's like I said, I'm going to bring Piper to the stage like she's James Brown or something. So coming to the stage, y'all should get like a slow clap, and then we're going to heighten it. So coming to the stage, she is also a fellow Northwestern graduate. Y'all should get a little bit hyper. She is the person that brought you Non-Misogynistic hip-hop night. Get a little hyper. She is a creative of all sorts. Get a little bit hyper. She is one of the few black women to this day that is shot for Vogue magazine. She is everything that you can think about when you think about Detroit. She is my friend, my homie, Piper Carter. Come on to the stage. And she's also doing the Arrow Flynn. Very Detroit of Piper, hitting the Arrow Flynn. I don't know if James Brown would have did that.
What up, though? What up, though, everybody?
What up, though?
So thanks for coming out. Actually, there's some seats like up here too, if y'all want to come. People don't want to sit up there in the front.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's too much. They think it's
I'm not a
like kind of
comedian.
comedy show. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not a comedian.
I know, they think
no
like,
one's getting heckled.
Look at them.
Right. So check. I wonder, can folks hear me pretty good here? Okay, cool. I'm just going to move this because I have to do like that to talk. So let me just move it a little bit. Okay. All right, that's cool. Yeah.
Oh, also, we are streaming live right now, too, just so that you know.
Peace,
that.
everyone. Thanks
The
for
internets.
listening to Piper Carter Podcast. For all the listeners, all the 30,000 listeners that listen to the podcast. Okay, so this is pretty cool. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone that's come out, everyone that's listened, that's liked, shared, subscribed. I want to thank, so here today, this is really super special. My family is here. I know I call everyone my family, but these are my relatives.
Hilarious. Real fam.
No, everyone's my real family. These are the ones I'm actually related to, and they know me very well, because like we all grew up together. So I just want to shout them out. So my cousin Everett is here, and Everett's like my brother. So Kari, now Everett, you're going to have to come up here. Because Kari, I always tell Kari, he reminds me of my cousin Everett. Now tell the truth. Everett, come here for a minute. Say something.
All right, he got to go to that mic.
To this mic? Okay.
Yes, he got to go to that
All
mic.
right, so, all right. Peace, Everett. All right. So my cousin Everett is a genius. He is a scientist. He's an author. He's a father. He's a dope cousin. And me and him grew up like brother and sister. And he knows me better than probably, so my mom knew me better than anyone on earth. And Everett probably knows me like the second best of anyone on earth. And I used to be so jealous of Everett because they used to say he was good and I was bad. And I used to get all the spankings. And I used to try to set him up.
You did set me up, girl.
So that he would get a spanking, and they never gave him a spanking.
You are not pleading a good case as far as,
No, they would
the good
never
child.
give him the spanking, right? They'd be like, no, we know he didn't do that, right? So, but Everett, I wanted you to promote your book that you have, and I wanted you to tell us about, just what it's like to be my cousin. But don't tell the truth.
Well, I will tell this a quick story. So Piper came to live with my family's in New Jersey. And Piper came to live with my family in New Jersey for a year. And it was our 8th grade year. And I had been going to this school for 3 years. And people started coming up to me in the hallway and saying, "Do you know Piper?" And I'm like, "Dude, I've known you for 3 years, and you just met my cousin, and she is now the most popular. She became the most popular person in the school, and I have been there for quite a while." But it's pretty cool to be Piper's cousin, because everywhere I go, people always know me because I'm related to Piper.
There we go.
But also too, so my cousin, like when we were growing up, my cousin, like remember those, what was the name? Encyclopedia Brown books. He had all the, do y'all know about Encyclopedia Brown? Okay, so he had all the Encyclopedia Brown books. You were the first one, were you first on Harry Potter?
No, I don't think I was first on Harry Potter. I can't say I was first on Harry Potter. You and I were Encyclopedia Brown and Choose Your Own Adventure. Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah. And also too, me and Everett used to do every single thing together. And we moved back and forth between New York, Detroit, New Jersey, right, together. And we also lived with my grandma together.
Yes,
we also went to the African Center
School
together. That's where I used to set them up, at my grandmother's house. and we went to African Center School together, Nataki Taliba.
Yeah.
And we did so much stuff together. So I wanted you to share like another like funny story because we probably have so many, but don't tell one that can't be on the internet.
Well, there was a time when Piper first came to New York, she would take us because Piper's father lived in Manhattan. And he lived in this really, really tiny apartment. Well, in New York, all apartments really.
Yeah.
But so we would go on adventures on the street, and Piper would walk up to. We went in on the Lower East Side in a really fancy restaurant, and Piper would put her face up on the window and go like this. So I go behind her and go like this. Lick my lip. So at a very young age, Piper taught me how to tease rich people, like how to act like a vagrant. But that was fun. I think we went as far as like Tribeca.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went as far as Tribeca because we went to Robert De Niro's restaurant and we were in the. I don't think we really got in as much trouble as you would think but we did. We
used to have so much fun.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, some of the stuff we can't tell, but it's okay. But this is my favorite person in the whole wide world. I know I would say that to everybody, but this is my favorite person in the whole wide world. And we're 11 months apart. I'm the elder. But Everett and Kari remind me of each other all the time. Oh, don't I always tell you? This is my cousin Everett. So you finally meet Everett. And Everett's here from New Jersey. So I just want everybody to give him some Detroit love. So tell us about your book.
I wrote a dystopian science fiction book. It's called The Red Plains. And it takes place in the future where everybody lives in the mall. That's it.
And when did you write it? Because you wrote it a minute ago.
2005. It was published in 2005.
Yeah. And where can people get it? Because you can still get it.
It's still on Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah.
On Amazon. Mm-hmm.
Wait, say it again. Say the name again.
The Red Plains. The Red Plains.
So this is my cousin Everett, y'all. So also too here is his sister, my cousin Gabby. Gabby doesn't talk. Do you want to come say something? Okay, that's fine. All right, good. So Gabby and I are a decade apart.
I'm Gabby, and I was Piper's little sister/doll. She used to dress me up and take me to school as her show and tell. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.
So Gabby, if you can imagine, Gabby here, Gabby used to be sassy. Yeah. And the school, when I lived with them, I was so because I was an only child, so I was so fascinated. And then, I dressed her like me, and I took her for show and tell. My teachers were like,
What in the Cabbage Patch were you doing?
I was like, look at her.
What in the Cabbage Patch were you doing, Piper?
But I just remember making Gabby listen to Whitney Houston, New Edition, and all the hip hop, because I used to think I was a DJ, and I used to in New York, New Jersey gets New York's radio, and I had moved from New York, so I was so used to my Friday, Saturday night, the Mr. Magic's Rap Attack and Red Alert and stuff like that on the radio, so I used to tape it, and I used to have Gabby and Everett listening to all the hip-hop stuff, all the Salt and Pepper and Slick Rick and all that stuff, and I thought I was a DJ, taping from one tape to the other. Y'all know about those stories, but that was Gabby Goo Goo. And then my cousin and Kingy, do you want to say anything, Kingy? Okay, so Min and Kingy are what you call Irish twins, but we're 1 day apart, and we're cousins, right? So they always told us we were twins. So that's my twin cousin, if you ever hear me say that. Aquarius. We were on the same team against her older sister, who was our bully. No, but shouts out to Yana and John. So my cousin Kingy's here, and Kingy's on the operations team for Detroit People's Food Co-op.
That's what's up.
So proud of her. And then, and so Terrell with the camera here. So that's my cousin too. So Terrell, do you want to say anything? Yeah, say something, Terrell. So come on. So Terrell is a amazing photographer and videographer. He does a lot of sports, and he's Clarissa Shields' official photographer.
What's up? Hello. Hi. Piper is very demanding when we do. She had Aisha in freezing water Sunday for a couple of shots. Her feet was like, and then while she's freezing, Piper like, yeah, you get in the water too. But I'm like, you the one with the squeaky boots on, you should get in the water. Then she got in the water, and then the water started leaking, and she like, yeah, let's stop and take 5. Anyway, I just wanted to say hi.
He's tell on me. He can't wait to tell on me. No, but he's an amazing image maker. myartmyrules.com. So check out his photography and videography. So there's so many people in here to shout out. So you know I'm gonna go through all my shout outs, right? I'm so hip hop.
Wait. Let's get to the stream.
Okay, let's do the stream. Let's do the stream.
Let's do some programming.
And then some shout outs. Okay, let's do that. Okay, boom. Okay. So Kari Frazier, do you remember when we first started the podcast? So Kari asked me to do a podcast 5 years ago. I already wanted to do a podcast. I hadn't even spoken to him about it. I was going to go to some other places. It was so kind of things lined up. And then Kari hit me up like, would you like to do a podcast? I was like, oh, I've been wanting to do a podcast. And then we met a couple times. And then we started going through ideas. And then I was like, I wanted to call it like, I don't know, community something, or the people this. And Kari was like, you have to call it Piper Carter Podcast. And I was like, ooh, I don't want to do that. Because like that's my name and it feels so like self-centered. And I was like, I'd rather do it like for the people. And he was like, no, you can connect all the things that you do because you're Piper Carter. And I was just like, oh my God, Kari, like that feels so weird. But tell us about that.
All right, so the thought process for anybody that knows Piper, as she's already like looking to shout out everybody in the room already, you know what I'm saying? Like that's Piper's, that's her vibe, that's her energy. So my thought process is Piper is so much more than whatever we would label it. Because sometimes it is environmental justice. Sometimes it's political justice. Sometimes it's women's rights. Sometimes it's specific to non-misogyny in hip hop. Sometimes it's as specific as social justice for black people. Sometimes it's Detroit. Sometimes it's Africa. So if we named it something about Detroit community, and then she's like, wow, but this issue is really going on in South Africa that we got to connect it to, then a person's going to turn on the podcast and be like, what's going on? What are we talking about here? This has nothing to do with Detroit community. And then we're trying to make all these connections. But I was like, everyone that connects to Piper. And you have to meet you and connect with it. So I was saying to myself, everything that you are is bigger than whatever name you would think of. Hence, even when we're thinking about a book that we're working on, the title is so long. Even the title of today is such a long title to come because it is so encompassing of what Piper's doing and how she's connecting. Because even when we started, now she's big into the gardening movement as well. So that would have been added on in a layer. But I believe that Piper represents a lot of things and a lot of people. One of the key things that I always tell Piper often is that Piper is embracing and living the experience of what many people, especially in our age range, when we think
I'm
of
older
things,
than you.
She is, but people that reach the age of, I would say like mid 30s on, that really want to tap into something more creative, that really want to tap into something more purposeful, that really want to move with autonomy, how Piper has moved for years. That experience of caring for her mother, that experience of creating a non-misogynistic hip hop night. And then being in your 40s doing something like that. It's so many people that want to support something like that, but just due to family and other obligations, they can't. So they see what Piper's doing, and though it is Piper Carter, she represents the freedom and the expression and the autonomy, I think, of so many others, especially so many other women in our city and women that have been in our city and left our city that want to give back, that want to connect. So she really is a representation of so many other people. So when I see Piper, it's more than Piper. The name Piper Carter represents something so much bigger than who Piper is, and more so what she's doing, the work she's led, and the experiences that she still grows through. And that's why I said, by naming it you, it really doesn't have a limit.
Okay. I can appreciate that. My ego likes that.
Hilarious. And that's the other thing. Piper's very funny too. Like, we laugh most of the time. So Piper has a great sense of humor, actually.
Yeah. So, and then, so also too, I got to shout out Kari. So Kari Frazier here. If you've never been to the Detroit is Different podcast studio, what he did was, so his grandparents, well, he grew up in the house next door to his grandparents' house. His grandparents passed away, rest their souls. He inherited the house, and he transformed the house now into a podcast studio and a community space, and now a garden space and a performance space and all of that. And so he invested in like really cool, high-end equipment. He's offering the space to the community to do storytelling. There's how many podcasts are on there now?
There are 18, and there's people in effect connected to the network here, definitely. So it's 18 different podcasts. Go to DetroitisDifferent.net, and all different experiences, I think, of Black life. Lord knows, it's like almost many sectors that you could ever think of, all connected through Detroit is Different.
Yeah, I think the Josh Adams podcast started the same year. You know, the comedian Josh Adams. T-Barb has her podcast. I mean, there's just so many. And then Kari has like the Detroit is Different After Dark series of podcasts, which is like BET After Dark, you
Hilarious.
know.
I wouldn't go as far. Sometimes it can be like that, but not that far. But definitely more adult language will be carried in many of those podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, it's the full gambit, right, of the Black experience in Detroit. And then I think another thing that's really cool is Kari actually really invests in all of us, right, that are members of the network. And so he's consistently, like checking in on us and helping us like structure our shows or get guests or just be more organized, So I think being a part of, in full transparency, different people have been like, oh, why do you go on that podcast? Because it says Detroit and you should be on this thing or that thing or get a deal or this or that because you could be like worldwide. My thing is, well, number one, all the internet is worldwide. But but also too, I really appreciate the values that Kari has with the space that he's created. I appreciate what he's invested into it, and it's like trying to go somewhere like really quote unquote like huge, if you will, and super corporate. It's like not really gonna care for you or like what you're doing or support you in that same way. And with Kari, he's constantly investing. So just wanted to like give you like a much appreciation.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying, for being that guy.
Thank you. Yeah. If you, it's always some different updates, different things that we're doing, and stay tuned. Like as you see, and Craig helped with that. It's QR codes for our Lotta Studio this year. Piper was one of our, we call it like the day party models, as you see that we got, but a lot of studios coming back this year.
Yeah, what is a lot of studio, Kari?
A lot of studio is where we basically take these podcasts like this, and it happens on the lot of land, turned it into a studio soundstage. It's performance, it's podcasts, it's food, and when we give it away, it's cool. So June 29th through August 17th, every Thursday, 5 to 9, pull up 1634 Clements. If you are here, make sure you hit that QR code. If you are online, make sure you just check out Detroit is Different or check out Piper's social media and so forth and so on.
Yeah, we put the commercial up on there. So I was trying to think of all the other things. So before we get started, I do have a couple of things I'm plugging.
Okay.
Y'all know I'm always plugging stuff. So if you see this, well, I don't know if you can see the banner that's here. And Aisha Ellis is here. We're going to bring her up in a little bit. But one of my organizations/companies is We Found Hip Hop. And this is our first vinyl pressing. It just came out. It's Aisha Ellis, drummer, percussionist. I'm so excited. I don't know if y'all can see, but our little logo's here, and it's on Hypnotic Records, and also being distributed through Submerge, which is the label that created techno music, and so it'll be distributed worldwide. There's a QR code on the album, so Aisha. I'll talk about the story, how this came about. But if you are on the socials, you can just go into We Found Hip Hop, and you'll probably see how to get the vinyl.
Wait, time out. If you are here, you can buy one today.
If you're here, you can buy one today.
Immediately.
Yeah,
The
you can buy
power
one
of now.
today. You can buy one today.
Yes.
And if not, just go on We Found Hip Hop. But Aisha's gonna come up a little later, and we'll do a whole interview with her. But since we're talking about the record, I gotta shout out the love of my life, P Groove, who's in the back. So, P Groove, I don't know if you want to come up here or not, but he said no. So,
Exactly.
he's a world-renowned music producer. He made music with Jay Dilla and Proof and things like that. He's very humble. He worked with Aisha to produce this album. Just incredible person and very supportive, a genius, and just, I don't know, there's so much more I could say. But just want to give him a shout out since he's here. And we'll probably talk about him when we talk with Aisha. So
let's jump this off. So if
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
to Piper Carter's podcast, the original episode, you remember it?
how can I forget?
Hilarious.
It was so funny.
All right, so and it's so funny because it also probably will definitely kick in. I don't know, where did Brittany go? Where's Brittany at?
She's over there. Yeah.
Okay, because you next in line. But it started, the Piper Carter podcast has an interesting critique analysis and also love of Kanye West. So it jumps
How many
off
Kanye West shows do we have?
probably about 15. So it started off.
Oh, wait. I'm anti Kanye West from the beginning, so all of y'all are late.
Hilarious. Okay.
Not anti, just anti his antics.
So as everything began, we're talking about just a lot of things in culture and hip hop, and then this is the topic of discussion. And I think that really, as we paid attention in pop culture to the journey of Kanye West, it's really a reflection of a lot of the journey of a lot of black artistry and even the black experience of what is success, how to judge success, what that journey is, looking to be accepted in American society. So this is a Kari take of it all. But it's interesting that it starts there, and then from there, so many arcs continue to come. So what was your idea of those first podcasts where me and Piper starting off? Because Piper was like, I need a guest. And I was like, I'll just come on for a second. And that's how it began. How did it begin for you?
Yeah, so Kari was like, well, because my thing was I like to talk to people. I like to listen to people, but I like to have the conversation. And Kari was like, no, you can just talk. And I was like, you want me to just sit in front of the camera and just talk? I can talk. Y'all know me. I could talk. But I need another person. It's a little weird to just be at the camera just blah, 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 blah. I know people do it. But it's just I don't know. I like to feed off the other person. I like to listen. Then I think of something. Then I've got a question. And I like to learn, because the conversation is constant learning. But with Kari, he's like, well, you don't need a guest. I was like, well, just come on and help me. So he came on. And those first couple episodes, we were just arguing. And that's what made me, and it reminded me of Everett. I was like, this me and Everett. No. But it was we weren't arguing, but it was You know what I mean? Like we were at it, and it was funny, and people liked it a lot. And I was like, man, people like drama.
Yeah, I want to say the first episode, it had hundreds of listens, so that was interesting to see hundreds of listens, and it was just all audio then. We hadn't begun doing video podcasting, even though people started requesting it maybe in 2019, but just all audio. So just the back and forth, the debate, and anybody that knows me, I like debating. So, I have an opinion on almost everything. So I'm willing to share what my perspective is and kind of go back and forth. So we're going back and forth on so many issues. And it definitely always is like black man's perspective, black woman's perspective, black community's perspective, America's perspective, like just layering different discussions. That was the start of the podcast, to the point where like even a couple people were like, didn't think you thought that way. And it's like, if Piper's going to bring that out of me. So I have to respond in a way where it's like, no, Piper, stop with the Leslie Stahl. Like, so why do you think that? And it's like, no. We're not about to play the why do you think that game. What do you think, Piper? So it's a lot of that, those first couple of episodes.
Yeah, but we had so much fun. I had a lot of fun. And then you were like, I want you to meet somebody. I met this amazing person. She's really incredible. I think you really like her. She's working on a film. I think you should talk to her and maybe maybe mentor her. And I was like, yeah, sure.
All right. So now let me give her the James Brown introduction. All right. So the introduction was made because I met her through Mama Shoshana. Mama Shoshana is the sister of Chokwe Lumumba, and Chokwe is one of my, rest in peace, one of my big-time mentors. And with that, I've kept a relationship with the family. And then Mama Shoshana is one of those people that calls. So one day, Mama Shoshana is like, I'm coming to the live recording of the podcast of the My Natural Hair. This is like the interconnection of the network. The My Natural Hair podcast, when we were doing those recordings at Detroit SIP. Shout out Javonna Watson. And from there, I met Brittany. When I met Brittany and she told me her whole idea, and I was thinking to myself, like, Brittany, you're gathering all of this footage, but you need to capture audio, lighting, just all the video stuff. And she was like, nah, I'm going for it. And I want to open a pizza place. I want to do all this different stuff. And I was like, the only other person with this much energy, this many ideas, this much passion is Piper Carter. So now, coming to the stage. All right, y'all should sort of slowly be clapping, right? When we met her, she was actually on crutches.
She was.
She came in on crutches and was like, I'm coming to the podcast anyway. Right now, she has the best vegan pizza that you can get every Sunday. The It's Food Detroit person. And I don't know why she at that microphone, because we about to switch off. We got Brittany Marsh coming to the stage. Give it up. Give it up.
What up, though? What's up, Pipe? Shout out to Aisha, y'all. Shout out Aisha. Look at this album, y'all. It's amazing. What's up?
So Brittany here. If y'all watch the podcast, y'all know that Brittany is a hooper. And when we first met Brittany, she was on 1 foot, poor thing. She had was it a broken ankle?
I tore my Achilles. I was coaching at the time. And I was filming a documentary. I was working on pizza recipes. I was coaching basketball. And they were like, hey, come hoop with us. I was coaching 5th graders. So I was beating up on them all the time. And then the older coaches were like, you need to come hoop with the 17 and up. I'm like, yeah. Tore my Achilles. Sat in my apartment all summer. Like Kari said, Mama Shoshana, who's a beautiful soul, who's actually going to be doing the storytelling event that you did, not in a couple weeks. And she's like, you got to meet Kari. So I went and met Kari, met Piper. And then I'm depressed about my life because once you're on crutches, right? You can't do anything. I can't film. I can't really be in the kitchen. I couldn't drive. And Kari's like, come meet this woman. She's so dope. She reminds me of you. And I'm like, I'm only me. I'm an alien. I'm literally from Pluto. And then I met Piper and I was like, damn. So yeah, it was all love.
Yeah, and so you still working on that film, right?
I had to put pizza first. I kind of put all this footage. I have so much footage of Detroit. It's unreal. It almost wants to bring me to tears how much footage I have of just the whole point of the documentary is to make a collage about my perspective of Detroit. I think we all, as Detroiters, have our own perspective. And that's what I love. Detroit is different, right? Kari and I are like-minded in the sense of Detroit brings music, it brings the church, it brings LGBTQ, it brings fashion, It brings hip hop, right? Jay Dilla, right? We talk about Kanye. We talk a shit ton about Dilla. Like Dilla is like the GOAT on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, how is Detroit the story untold? So I kind of like Tubi before Tubi. So I was like, I'm gonna get my iPhone, I'm gonna get my MacBook, I'm gonna get this, I think it was like $1,900 camera, and I'm gonna film everything I know about Detroit from my perspective, you know? So I had to put it down because my first love is food. And so, you know, I have the footage. Once I get the restaurant fully open, then I'll go back to the documentary. I think it'll be timeless, so.
And I remember before you were like, I love pizza.
Yeah,
And I want to open up a pizza restaurant.
yeah.
And so talk about that when I first met you. Not this one, but the one before you had the restaurant and all that stuff.
You mean like where I was in the process?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a trained chef. I just have always loved pizza, and I've always been like the type of person that if you love something, that's what you should be doing for a living. And so I just started studying everything about pizza that I could, like from water, from yeast to sugar, from how it all, you know, it's science, it's art, everything is really. And I just fell in love with cooking, honestly. And at the same time, I'd made a transition into being alkaline. Shout out to Dr. Sebi. My mom actually was like, if you're gonna open up a pizzeria and you want it to be plant-based, like you have to go alkaline. I'm like, no, I don't. And I went alkaline, and, you know, truth be told, it taught me how amazing, you know, when you're working with plants, you know, what you can create, you know, so. Long story short, Piper actually had a dope retreat. It was for artists. You know, everything Piper does is like Kari is kind of saying, it kind of circulates. I think that's how we should all live life. And so she threw a retreat for musicians and anyone that was in the music industry, from stylists to producers to photographers. It was what, how many of us?
25.
And so I actually had, after working on like all these recipes, I'm like, man, I've been manifesting and telling people I'm gonna open up a pizzeria, and they probably think I'm lying. So I need to like have like this event where like I invite people out and share with them what I've done. And Piper was one of those people who came, and we all know Piper. She's like, yeah, you're gonna do the food for my retreat and it's all gonna be vegan. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't cater, I don't cook, I'm not doing it. She's like, yes, you are, and it's all gonna be vegan. And then I did it, and then we get back to the city.
Everyone loved it, and everyone kept coming to me like, who's that chef?
Anyway.
That chef is amazing. That chef is incredible.
It was all right. So,
and I was like, Brittany, they love your food. She's like, really? Everyone was, where's Aisha? Aisha went on the retreat. Okay, so everyone was like, who's that chef? Who's that chef?
Long story short, I get back to the city with Pipe. She makes me come into Willis Show Bar for COVID. She lines me up with the owner of Willis, and that's how I started my food business. So it's like,
because she didn't have a kitchen.
I didn't have a
She didn't have a
kitchen.
place to serve her food, and the owner of Willis wanted me to do a weekly there, and I was like, oh, we need food. And I need some food I can eat. And I had been there, and it was like, he would let like different people do food. So I went to him and I was like, look, can I bring my own chef? And he was like, cool. And I was like, look, she doesn't only have to do like my night. Like she could do any of your nights. Like she's really dope. She's whatever. And then he was like, well, let me see what we're working with. And then he liked your food. And then he was like, she's amazing. And then she just started off on Willis Show Bar on her own. And they're having their 5-year anniversary.
Shout out to
this
Willis
year.
Show Bar.
Shout out to Willis Show Bar.
You know-
and Sean. Shouts out to Sean, the owner.
But I want to bring this back to community. I think we all as Detroiters, there's this new thing that says everyone in Detroit is a celebrity, and it makes me laugh. But it's so true. We put in so much work, and the whole point of the documentary and why I'm so aligned with Detroit is Different is because we have to recognize our resources. We have to recognize where we connect and how we can move ourselves further. And it just makes me laugh at, like, if I would have never met Kari, I would have never met Piper. If I would have never met Piper, who knows where my food business would be. Honestly, my trajectory that summer was to just like go out and sell pizza slices for $1 on the Riverwalk, and to sell it to like the tailgaters for the lion season. And then
I saved her from
did.
Dan Gilbert.
she did. She saved me. It's true. You're my hero.
But then
what? Where you go? What? There's so much more to talk about other than that.
okay, that's fine.
It's true.
Okay. So we'll keep it pushing. So but this one here was like, you got to get on video. And I was like, I'm not going to be on video because that means I got to do my hair and have an outfit every week. And she was like, no, you don't. I was like, I guess I don't.
Well, before that, like I think there's a lot that we need to talk about. I mean, we've had some amazing podcasts. Like when I first came on, I think you were interviewing some people who were in community in Southwest Detroit, and they motivated me so much because at the time, you know, we were all kind of like, dang, gentrification is like actually like really happening. And their story was so strong because they were able to keep, what do you call those, parking meters out of their neighborhood. Do you remember her talking about that? And it just like struck a nerve with me. Like they had started, you know, anyone that like hangs out in the music scene, there's the L Club in Southwest, right? And so like that right there, when you put that one club or you put that one thing there that makes people want to go, gentrification just settles right in. And so they started putting parking meters right on Michigan Ave. And the activists there were like, no, we run this community. We've always run this community. Get them out. And they were removed, right? So that was like my first episode on. And I'm like, who is this lady? Like, who is Piper to be finding these people, right? And so from there, right, and before me, I think we did, one of the biggest podcasts was the issue in Flint with the water crisis.
Yeah.
It's like unreal, the dynamics of it, right? And we've talked to Jay Dilla's mom, right? Ma Dukes. We've done all kind of things. We've gone to the African Charles H. Wright and have done live shows with community work there, right? We've talked sports. Yes, we talked Kanye. And Kari, the way you just described Kanye, right? You guys have to remember, like, I am a true, she would call me the token millennial. I am
she
a true.
Loves Kanye.
It's not that. It's not that. Right? Kanye for me is why I'm doing what I do, right? He, like Piper, represents something.
Disclaimer. Go ahead.
Represents something in a sense of, right? I think when College Dropout dropped, I was in 9th grade, right? He was the first person that did not have a gun, that wasn't derogatory to women at that point, and, right, that gave a different look. So he represents.
I'm like, that's a low bar, Brittany.
It's not a low bar. It's not. When you think about the music that you won't play on the podcast, we're talking about at that time. The point I'm getting at is it's not Kanye, right? It's the idealism of you being black and American, us recognizing that black is so many different things. You don't have to be one version of black, right? You don't have to be one version of thinking, right?
But that's an old Kanye.
It's new Kanye too. Anyway, let's not get stuck on Kanye. There's so much to talk about.
I'm like, yeah, because me and her would be up here scrapping.
Literally.
Like, about Kanye.
For no reason, though, right? But the point I'm getting at is that we've had some great times. We've had a lot of intentional work on the podcast. It's been a pleasure to be with you.
You too. This is the token millennial.
I started off with trying to produce, and I sucked, so I just stuck to co-hosting.
She didn't suck. It's just that, like, when she's producing, then she'll be on the phone like this. And I'll be like, and then she'll be like, what? Huh?
It's half true. So yeah.
No, but it's all good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, Brittany. It's Food Detroit is at Okibulon now every Sunday. So now she has a space.
And shout out to Mama Shakira in the back. G-Mac, Shayla's in the back.
Where's Dr. Shakira? Moyo, Shayla.
Dang, they left. Oh my God. So that's just part of the story too, because you introduced me to G-Mac.
Yeah, G-Mac was on the show.
Yeah, he was on the show.
And G-Mac is, what's his title with, He's
business development at Okibulon. Yeah.
Business development is his actual title. He does a lot of things. Programming, works with the youth.
How many of you guys know what Okibulon Village is? All right, good. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, so Okibulon Village, talking about like circles. So Baba Cofield was a part of another
Operation Get Down.
Youth development, remember Operation Get Down? So we used to go to Operation Get Down because my auntie cousin, if y'all don't know what an auntie cousin is, it's a cousin that's your mother's first cousin, but you don't call her cousin, you call her auntie. Okay, so so my auntie cousin, shouts out to Frida Diggs, used to work there, and then she would have all of her kids, all our cousins, and us, because we lived around the corner. My grandmother lived around the corner, and we'd walk, because we lived on Pennsylvania between 94 and Shoemaker. And we would walk up, what was that, Cadillac French or something like that. We'd walk over to Operation Get Down. They had the basketball games, they had that thing that you do like that. I don't remember what that thing is called. Foosball. And they had what else did we have? Cheer team. They had those lunches, the free lunches, which actually back in the day, free lunches were real food. They're not the food they get now. They were actual food. What was it, like hot dogs, hamburgers, stuff like that. Oh, and then they used to have milk and chocolate milk. And I didn't know I was lactose intolerant, but I would be like, I'm not drinking that milk. And if you know anything about the 70s, they were always trying to tell you like how good milk was for you and all that. And I was just like, I'm not drinking this milk. And I would be on a protest about this milk. And they'd be like, okay, well, you're going to drink the chocolate milk. I'd be like, okay, I'm fine with that. Like, so I drink and then we get the chocolate milks. And they took us on the trips to the Babalo boat. Who remembers Babalo boat?
Man.
And Operation Get Down used to have, so we would go on the Babalo boat. They would have the bus. We'd meet for the bus. We'd get on the bus. So the whole thing was like you meet at Operation Get Down. That was fun. And then you get on the bus. The whole bus right there was super fun. Then you get on the Babalo boat, and that was super fun. And we have dance contests. And I always used to win the dance contest because we remember like the pop and the shake. I don't know if y'all know about that from the 70s, but in the 70s in Detroit, we had the pop and the shake. and the freak, the worm. There was all these dances. Anyway, but we used to have dance contests, and those were good times. But they kind of split, and I think Operation Get Down started serving returning citizens, correct, which is what I think is their continued path. And then Akibulan Village continued on serving youth. And so they taught African martial arts, and so they've kept that. And so Akibulan Village has youth programming and all. Now it's a community center.
It is.
They have a garden. Like it's our only, as far as I know, African-centered, like community center youth program that we have left.
Right on the east side, Harper and Van Dyke.
Yep.
A lot of program. If you're looking to give back and to do any work or you need any help, they do a lot of partnering in the community in the summertime with the youth program. So please reach out to Akiba.
And they have a skate rink indoor.
They do have a skate rink.
So they do skate parties for youth. And that's where Brittany has her food business. They have a commercial kitchen there, and they allow different chefs to incubate their businesses. So that's where she's every Sunday, right? 12 to 5?
A lot of gratitude for that, 12 to 5.
Yeah. So that's what's up. So shouts out to Akibulan Village. So, I don't know. Let me see. I want to bring Deja up here for a little bit.
Come on,
We'll
Deja.
go back
Come
and
sit
forth.
here.
So hold on. So you got to introduce Deja because you introduced me to Deja.
Yeah, shout out to my friend Shannon. So she's like, man, like I know you think you know a lot about music. She was like, and you do, like you're really like in tune. She was like, but there's someone who knows more about music than you. And I was like, ooh, who? And she was like, she's younger than you. She's super dope. Like she's like an encyclopedia of music. And her name is Deja. And I really think she should be on a podcast. And I was like, for real? And 2 or 3 conversations in with Deja, and I'm like, how is this girl so young and like such a unicorn when it comes to, when I talk about music, I'm talking about genres, I'm talking about taking you through geography from where the music is, and then still so in tune with the Detroit sound and the love for Jay Dilla, which we all need to be in love with Jay Dilla.
So wait, before we bring her up, remember the Michael Jackson thing?
Yeah, I kind of do. With, what was it when we were talking
so
about?
So one day, we asked Deja to like do some research and come with an artist that she could like go really like into, and then she did this whole Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is like my favorite artist, okay, and he always has been since a child.
Michael Jackson or Prince?
I know he's problematic.
All right, everybody, Michael Jackson or Prince?
I know
Michael
we're in
Jackson or
Detroit
Prince?
and I'm outnumbered, and everyone in Detroit is Prince.
I know everybody in Detroit do love
I know
Prince.
I'm outnumbered, but I'm from the 70s, and it was Michael Jackson.
I just need y'all to put some respect on Mike.
And it was off the wall Michael Jackson. I'm sorry for all y'all Thriller people.
I'm a Thriller fan for sure, and we talked
But
about
it
that
was
same
Kari's
episode.
Thriller. We were battling about that, but I don't care what y'all say. Off the Wall is the best album.
It is funky.
Yeah. Then Thriller, but it's okay. And so, but Deja came and she did all this brilliant research, and it was a really amazing show. If y'all could find that show, And that's what I like. I knew Deja was amazing, but when she came with the research on that one, I was like, yeah, she's really incredible because I'm a music nerd too. And that was really dope. So really appreciate you about that.
Yeah, she made us our intergenerational, perspective, right? I'm 33, Pipe's 50,
51.
Deja 51. Deja, what are you? 27. So it's
She just had the birthday.
So all right, come take my seat. I want them to know how amazing you are.
Yay, Deja! So Brittany is our token millennial, and Deja is our token Gen Z. So appreciate you, Deja.
I don't really like Gen Z. I feel like I'm halfway between both of them. I'm 96, so I can kind of claim both. But yeah, I don't know. Can I?
Right,
Well,
96 was when
I'm in there.
Tupac left us in 96, right? Frankie P! Frankie P in the building!
My favorite rapper too. Thank you.
And I can't say my favorite rapper because all these women in Detroit will kick my behind if I say that. But Frankie is one of my favorite MCs. But Frankie has done, if y'all look on, I think it's on YouTube now, but Frankie has been a part of We Found Hip Hop, which is our company that we told you that put out Aisha Ellis' album. And Frankie has done Detroit Performs with us. Really want to get in the studio with Frankie and do some stuff. Gotta make that happen. Yeah.
I actually found out about Frankie, just to give her the flowers that she so deserves. I found out about her through Women Love Hip Hop at the museum one day. I went to see my friend Shannon, the one that introduced me to Brittany, perform with you as well. Frankie just blew my whole mind.
Right.
Crazy.
Because she's so cool, right?
Oh, yeah.
So jazzy and cool. Amazing. So Deja is now producing music and also a DJ and also a record nerd and also just a really incredible person. And when you came on to the podcast, you just came on in and it was so amazing. So what's it been like for you being on the podcast?
It's been really, really cool. I've learned a lot about life and womanhood from you and Brittany, perspectives that I would not have otherwise thought about from experiences that I haven't been able to have yet, and just saved me a lot of strife from listening to you too. Like, for real. So I just thank you both for being, upfront and really 100 about everything, especially on air, because it takes a lot of vulnerability. So thank you.
So you see what she makes me feel good, right? She's so brilliant. So Deja here, tell us about like some of the things that you do, because you're like DJing at Spotlight, which is like the hottest spot that's going on right now. Shouts out to the U of M students that are here. Y'all shout out all of our U of M students here. So they asked me like where to go, and they were like, is Spotlight the hot place? And I was like, you know what, I'm 51, so let's ask someone who you might think is actually cool.
But you know what, Spotlight is great because it's very inclusive. Like, everyone is welcome. They have programming that all ages can enjoy any time of day, as long as they're open. I think they're open like Wednesday through Saturday, but there's always something you can, enjoy there, be it yoga if you're just trying to like calm down and get your chi together, or if you just want to, shake it off to some good music with real instruments. So
and Hot Wax DJ, the legendary Stacey Hot Wax Hale, who's the godmother of house.
Yes.
Does she do Fridays?
Yeah, she has a residency there called House Cats. Her and one of her DJ friends, they go back to back and just kill it. All genres, beautiful music. Sometimes they spin vinyl too. So like the frequency from vinyl, just from a CDJ, MP3 or whatever, is just different in general. Great sound system, great people that work there. So I'm definitely for a Spotlight, but...
And shouts out to Hot Wax. So DJ Hot Wax, if y'all don't know, she's the godmother of house. So she was spinning, you know, in the 80s. She's a pioneer. She's world renowned. She's known all over the place. She's going to be spinning. Because Movement, Detroit has electronic music festival that's this month, the end of this month, and she's gonna be spinning. But shouts out to Hot Wax. I've had her on the show a couple times doing some music
You
shows.
said
She got me a strike on my channel because she played Prince. I'm like, come on
You
now.
can't go. I mean, that's a worthy strike, though, right? Like, it's Prince.
You know you can't play Prince on YouTube.
But the people loved it. That's
The people
what
loved
matters,
it.
right?
But so if you go to that episode, it's mute. they muted it, but you know, it is what it is. But shouts out to Hot Wax. She has her radio show, and you know, she comes on and does some shows, some music shows with me. So, you know, shouts out to her.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are very fortunate and super privileged to be in Detroit around so many music legends.
So
Like,
many. Who said that? Was it Kari or was it Kari that said that, or was it Brittany?
said everybody's famous.
Is
here,
a celebrity.
Which is true because you gotta, come on, it's really competitive and not even intentionally, but shoot, you want to be able to have conversation with your peers in the city and you want to be able to do something that you're proud of. So it just kind of pushes you to go further.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And
it's
I think
natural.
what you brought to the podcast, in addition to your brilliance and your record knowledge and all of that, is allowing us to have like an intergenerational perspective, right? Because again, you know, I'm a Gen Xer, Brittany is the millennial, and you bring, I know you say you're not a Gen Z.
If we're gonna be technical,
A Jillennial.
I just don't identify. Yeah.
You know, but you bring a different perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because it's interesting to hear the way that you see things, because I wouldn't think of things in that way, or even the artists you bring me, or your perspective on the ways in which like I might think about something. And, you know, I'm wondering, like, is it ever frustrating to like be on the podcast?
No, you're really receptive. Both of you are. Even when it feels like you're not as receptive, what I appreciate about Brittany too is that she can come in and kind of say things in a way that I can't convey to help you like see things from my side. And maybe the same for Brittany too. Like, I think we just kind of all help each other understand each other. So that's also what I love about being here. If I can't say something, I learn how to, you know, empathize in a better way through Piper and Brittany. So
She's so precious, right? So share with us like some, like, do you have any of like favorite episodes or favorite moments from like being on the podcast?
my favorite episode, I love it when we bring guests in. When Asta came, that was a definite highlight. Learned a lot about his CMOS product, which is great, that I take a tablespoon of every day. It's got my energy high and my mood, vibration, everything up. So I love that. Asta was great. You even brought on a lady that you
Asa
met.
Bay.
Yeah,
If y'all
Asa
don't know,
Bay.
he's a holistic healer here. Super amazing.
Super great guy. You met this lady, I think Yohan was from Germany. I don't remember.
Oh,
But
yeah.
When you met Yohan, what was that building you were at? Let's see.
We're at Submerge?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our office, is at the Techno Museum. So at Submerge, and she was here.
Randomly. Super.
Yeah, like for movement. And she just was really incredible, right? And she had like some really amazing music. And she was like, I'm here from Germany. And I was like, you want to come on the podcast? And she was like, cool. I was like, yeah. And she knew like everything about Detroit music and Detroit artists. Like, she just knew everything. And we were like, wow, we know nothing about you.
Yeah, like it was so dope.
It was cool though.
And then we also had another guest on that episode, super cool, Wicked, who's a musician from Detroit as well. If you all
She's amazing.
aren't familiar with her, super great.
She just had a show at the Charles H. Wright.
Yeah. Love her. So they were both on that episode and just gave us two different perspectives about life and just, you know, the creative things that they enjoy, be it literature or music or theater. Like, it was just a really great episode. So yeah, that was definitely the highlight. And then that was the last episode that we did before the pandemic hit.
It was
Before
wasn't it?
lockdown. That was the last time that we were all in the studio together. And I don't think we really linked up again until maybe last year for a few
Oh yeah, because we were doing
episodes.
virtual.
Yeah, and then my life got crazy, and then, yeah, so it's just nice to be whole again with my family.
Yeah, so
That was definitely my favorite
we took
episode.
some time off too, because like when pandemic first, because like if you listen to the podcast, what I like to do is we do segments, right? So we'll have like the horoscope sometimes. We'll have like new music. Deja brings us a lot of new music. Brittany does sports. And then we collaborate, but I like to talk a lot about current events because I like a lot of different podcasts. I'm inspired by different podcasts, but what I really like about podcasts is staying up to date with news, but in a way that really helps me understand like the issue, right? Because it's kind of boring to me to just like watch the news because it's like my brain is telling me that like I know that this news outlet is like filtering what they want, the perspective and the way that they want me to hear this story, so that I know because my background is in media, but also too like my mom was in media, rest her soul, and Everett's dad was in media. Like we weren't even allowed to watch a lot of stuff growing up because the understanding about the impressions that media can have shaping your perspective and things like that. So for me, like just knowing that, I'm very, I like to get my news sources from a wide range of, sources. And so I was like, when I do the podcast, I want to be able to like share information, but share it in a way that's going to be interesting, but also go a little bit deeper and not just be like so surface. And so we kind of collaborate. We find different news stories.
Yeah.
And we discuss them. Then we see like, well, how we're going to maybe talk about it. And then sometimes Deja finds stuff. Sometimes Brittany finds stuff. Sometimes I find stuff. So we try to keep it so that we're, making it like interesting to different audiences, you know what I mean? So
try to stay really well-rounded.
Yeah. But also too, like I'm an activist, so I'm involved in a lot of different causes, mostly environmental justice. So a lot of the fights that I'm in, I'm like, oh, I have a podcast, so let's just go in here and talk about the water crisis because it's really relevant, and I know all the people because I'm involved, so I can get the interviews with the people that are doing it. But then what I really appreciate is like Deja or Brittany will come with these questions that like, I would never have thought of, right? And so I think that kind of also helps people to understand the issue as well. You know what I mean? Because it's like when you're doing activism, you're like so like down in the rabbit hole that sometimes you don't see, what you're not seeing, if that makes sense. And so when you guys bring that, you kind of help reveal, other aspects of it. So I'm wondering, were there any of the activists, issues that, that you kind of learned from?
Most recently, it would have to be the episode that we recorded last week about the mothers of the foundation. I'm trying to remember the name. Protect Our Stolen Youth.
Yeah,
Or
Protect Our
Treasures.
Stolen Treasures post. Yolanda
Yeah.
McNair.
Yeah, that one hit me hard. I didn't really think about, like media training and, how the media will vilify you if you show too much emotion, if you're grieving. So, seeing, trials of murder on TV and everything growing up, it just didn't really click to me that you can't do too much and you do have to say the right things. And sometimes you don't always know what to say and how there might not be community for that. And just, I didn't realize how much that I was not empathizing until that episode. I was just looking at it from a surface level and not, because it didn't affect me personally. It affected me as a Black person and as a woman, as somebody who's marginalized, but I just didn't realize everything that I wasn't considering. So that probably has been the one that's really like hit and made me really think and open up.
Yeah, and just thanks for bringing up that episode. Shouts out to Yolanda McNair. Her organization, if you check out the episode from last week, it's Protect Our Stolen Treasures. Unfortunately, her daughter was murdered by the police in 2012, and she turned her grief into her activism and to support other parents who have had young people that were murdered by police. And she actually has a rally that's coming up this Saturday. That's going to be at Peterson Park, 11 to 1.
Greenfield.
Curtis and Greenfield, and then which is the 13th. And she also has an event on June 25th. And June 25th, which is a Sunday, and that's going to be 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. And also at Peterson Park. And it's going to be a celebration of life. We're going to have people doing like kites and youth and food and games because we want to, bring community together to show our resilience, but also to support one another. So if y'all, that's a plug for that. That's going to be June 25th, which is a Sunday, from 3 until 9. And we'll keep promoting that. So.
Yeah. That's been my favorite. And again, thank you for bringing me these opportunities and experiences, because I wouldn't be the Deja that I am today without you and Brittany and Shannon for introducing me to y'all. So thank you.
She's so sweet. I did not pay her. So we got to get some tracks out of you too, right?
Oh yeah.
We got to get you to produce some music.
And low key, I don't think I would have dropped my first beat tape without you either. Paper was on my head, kind of bullying me about dropping some music when she figured out that I was a producer. And I actually decided to drop it on Jay Dilla's birthday, February 7th. I think I did that 2019 or 2020, but thank you. Because that has opened up so many doors for me, too. Thank you.
That's my little sweetie pie. So I'm going to bring up another person, but I got to do some shout outs, right? So there's so many people to shout out. Kari had stopped me before, but like most of this audience I have to shout out. So first of all, I want to shout out Kim Shirobi. If y'all don't know Kim Shirobi. So Kim Shirobi, so many people in Detroit do amazing things. We have, I would call it like a community house movement. Maybe. I don't know if it's a movement, but people are doing it. And Kim Shirobi has taken one of the houses in the community where she lives and where she grew up and turned it into a community house. Actually, there's a few houses that she's done that for. And it's called the Burwood House. And so in brief, it's a space that I'm going to say community can come together. There's so much stuff that happens at the Burwood House. I don't even know where to begin. We could be here and do 5 shows on Burwood House alone. But if you've ever, I don't know if people know about the Bog Center, if people know about, where people take, what she's done is taken this house and, built it back up, refurbished it, but it's what happens inside the house. So she's a part of her block club. So, she has the community meetings there. She's working on this amazing project to revitalize the avenue that the house, sits on, which is called the Fullerton Corridor. So there's a school that's down the street, which is a part of the community that she also has relationship with, but not just relationship there. She has relationships all over the place with different community members and organizations and businesses. And Burwood House is just a place, it's a center of gravity in the community. And she's been doing this the whole time herself. It wasn't she was oh, I'm going to do a business, right? It was okay, here's a need that's in the community. Here's a vision. It's something that's, continuing to evolve, but conversations take place there. She's always bringing great energy to the space. Now she's doing Community Lens for the last couple of years, which is a youth program where she, teaching young people youth leadership. It was photography, but now it's turned into so much more. And Kim Shirobi's always doing so much in the community. She's on the board of the James and Grace Lee Boggs Center, which is a home. I'm going to say it's a political home for a lot of people. Anyway, there's so much more I could say about Kim Shirobi. She does so much. And Kim Shirobi came out, and I'm also proud to be a part of Community Lens team. What else is there? There's so many people. Oh, thank you. I see Peggy, and Peggy is, if you know about Detroit People's Food Co-op, if you don't know about Detroit People's Food Co-op, get your membership. It's $200 for the rest of your life, meaning like a one time, and you're good. But Peggy does the communications and like just so many other things. But Peggy here, I see Peggy all the time because I work at in DBCFSN, so we're in the same office. But Peggy here is a gardener, and she's, I don't know, do you use the word wife? She's a spouse. And, sometimes you have to be careful with our words. But she's a spouse, and she's in Royal Oak, community. Is that Ferndale? Okay, in Ferndale, thank you. In Ferndale community. But she's a Detroiter, okay? And that means something, right? That means something. So I really appreciate you, Peggy, always coming out. Peggy has come and helped me do community cleanups in my neighborhood and just giving me plants and just, Peggy's awesome. I text Peggy all types of crazy stuff going on with my neighbors, and Peggy would be like, do this, do that. But I love Peggy. Yeah. And, I want to shout out Bianca. So if y'all know I love supporting, vegan food businesses. Whoop, whoop. And so Mama Bianca is Real Food by Bianca. And she's also a mother, a wife, a chef in the community, does a lot of events. The kids love her food. If you have kids or people who are like, I don't eat vegan food, Mama Bianca will hook you up. And the kids will be like, this is vegan? Yeah, love Mama Bianca. I've been on, what did we do together? Detroit Freedom School. Right? We've done so much stuff together, so always in the community. We also, Detroit People's Food Co-op. She's one of the leaders of the Black Caucus. So shouts out to you. And, Monique and Seti. So got to shout out, Monique and Seti are here. Woo! So they are representing, if y'all know, I'm also a part of the urban gardening movement, and they are with Feed 'em Freedom Growers on the east side with Mama Myrtle and Baba Wayne, and they have a program. So we're abolitionists, and we're working to redefine safety and also have a world without police and prisons. And so a part of what they're doing, they have, so in Detroit, we have something called a green light, and basically it's this like false solution that it's actually a scam, but the Detroit police had got together with this security company that sells these cameras and false hope that if a camera's there to film you being robbed, that you're safer. But I mean, it's just gonna be on film. It's not like you're any safer. But they tell the businesses that they have to get the green light if they want to get protection from the police, which is a public service that our tax dollars actually already pay for. So it's basically extortion. And so when the businesses don't pay the money, well, then they scare the crap out of them and tell them, well, if you want to be like safer, then you'll get this green light with our cameras that actually see all the way down the street. So all the people in the community actually think that they're safer, but they're really like on surveillance with the Detroit Police Department, so they can see all your comings and goings, which some people think that sounds safe, but it's really invasive, And, it's technically illegal, but they get away with it, right? Because it's like, oh, well, our camera just happens to see and record everything that's going on. But anyway, huge movement to get the green lights out. And what they've done over there at Feed 'em Freedom is they have a program where they actually teach people how to make benches, wooden benches, because the whole premise is that these cameras and the surveillance doesn't actually make us safer. Having actual relationships with your community members and talking to your community members actually creates more safety. And so let's get back on our porch and get back into the community and get to know one another a little better. So they make these benches, and it's green chairs, not green lights. And so it's a whole movement. And also too, it goes into workforce development and learning skills. But anyway, just wanted to shout. I know it's a whole long story, but it's to shout them out for the work that they're doing. I see my homie is here. Yeah,
Thank you.
Oh, wait, before that, Zelen is here, who has modeled for me doing, so I got to shout out Mama Ngia, but Zelen has been a model for Detroit Rocks the Runway, which is the brainchild of Mama Ngia, that was part of African World Festival. So she's modeled. I want to say she kind of grew up modeling in the show, and now she's over at Nefertiti, and she does natural hair at Nefertiti Salon, which is right up the block next to Cooking with Q, which is where we got the food from today. And someone to shout you out. Yay! She comes to everything. This I love. Okay, yeah, wait, I got to shout out Mama Ngia first, though. And I want to bring Mama Ngia up here. Let's bring Mama Ngia up here. Y'all got to shout out Mama Ngia. So I know, she was like, girl. So Mama Ngia Kai is one of my mentors and one of my biggest supporters. She's been on the show. We've had Mama Ngia on the show. We got to bring Mama Ngia back. That was a great show. So if y'all don't know Mama Ngia, she's what young people call the plug. Peace, Mama. Thank you. So Mama Ngia, I'm going to tell you why she's amazing, because she's also a Howard University alum. You know. So Mama Ngia, you do so much. Have y'all ever seen this film called Daughters of the Dust? Cinematographer. Just see she's so humble, yeah, I did that, Also, too, most of the events that you go to downtown, Mama Ngia has produced. African World Festival. Who's been to the African World Festival? The producer. There's so much, Mama Ngia. I could go on and on and on. Noel Night. Have y'all been to Noel Night? All right, the producer. There's so much, Mama Ngia. I could go on. It's a long list. But
well, we're here to celebrate Piper. This is one of the dynamos, isn't she? This is a dynamic sister. And it's not surprising that the audience then would be full of more dynamos. More activists, more people who care about people, who are focused on raising themselves and then raising their family and then moving out into community. And the world is flipping over and changing because of the kind of energies that we all, and the sister here really spotlights and highlights and gives tremendous energy to. So I just love her. I'm grateful that I get to be in her sphere of doing and influencing people. And I just celebrate her. She's just a beautiful person, and I'm grateful that she sees something in me that she would honor in the ways that she does. So right on for the right on.
So Mama Ngia here is so amazing. First of all, Mama Ngia is a producer, right? She's a filmmaker, okay? And she's like the mama. Like, she's the community mama. Everyone calls her Mama Ngia. Even people that are older than her call her Mama Ngia, because she mothers the community. And for decades, she's been mothering the community, been a part of the African Center community, the arts and culture community and the professional arts community. And so Mama Gia is respected like everywhere. She brings George Clinton to town. I mean, she brings the biggest
We'll
people.
be here Friday, July 14 at the African World Festival.
You see where I get it from? So, and me and Mama Gia always, so Mama Gia, what I love about Mama Gia is she's gonna train you, so you're gonna be trained how to do things professionally, and she's gonna check you, right? Lovingly. Like how your mom would check you, you know what I mean? But it's like that loving, like, no, baby. But she's also so encouraging and inspirational. And just wanted to give you so much love because Mama and Gia's eldest daughter has transitioned. So I want to shout out, first of all, Indidika, who, rest her soul, Mama Gia's eldest daughter, was also super dynamic and also a person that, you know, I say another side of Mama G, right? That very like, no. I think he used to send Indidika on people and say no.
You know, I appreciate that. We actually are going to honor Indidika. It'll be a year transition, and on the 21st. And so we're going to build a butterfly garden in the backyard because that became the symbol of her energy. So I really appreciate that. And you know, I will say that this community and what I call the fam unity, like family and community combined, has been the whole support. It's been beautiful this whole year. It's really been almost overwhelming, the amount of love and support that this community has provided us. Her children are doing well. She has little children who are now 11 and 6, and they're doing great. They have been able to process and move through because everything kept moving for them, because the family and the community showed up. So it's been a wonderful year of demonstration of love in action and living through our truth. You know, we get faced with things in life, and we say what we're gonna do, but when we're actually in it, you know, who we show up to be and how we're able to move through it says a lot, not only about your individual character, but about the village that you're a part of. And so we're really grateful that we've been able to hold on to our understanding that it is true that we are here right now. We are actually here right now, you know, infilling these bodies that have capacity to do things. You know, my mom and them used to teach us that we were God's hands. And so, you know, our energy is here. It chose to be here. It's come to make some type of impression, expression, impact, learning. And so, you know, staying true to that and knowing that there will be a time when we will be fertilizer to new growth with the physical that we lay down, but that's not our ending. And the fact that we can still call her name and feel her energy and be affected by the memories and the love shows that it doesn't end as long as we hold on and call that name. So Asante Sana, I appreciate that. I have to put in a plug here, though, for the fact that on Saturday,
Yes.
you have a many of things to do Saturday. Let me say, Detroit is definitely popping because there's a lot going on. But we have coordinated walking in the spirit of our mothers. And it's a walk. We're encouraging the full community, but this is privileging women. And we're encouraging women to come dressed in white if you choose. And we're going to gather at Mac and Fisher on the near east side at Mac Alive's headquarters there. And we're going to process, we're meeting at 10.
A.M.
10 a.m., thank you. And we're going to process down Fisher Street starting at 11 a.m. It's about a 30-minute walk if you're a walker, maybe 45 minutes if you're a stroller. And then we're going to gather at Irma Henderson Park from 12 to 2. We have refreshments, we have a shuttle, we have security, we have EMS. We're really treating this activity with respect, but we're coming together to declare ourselves that not only has spring sprung, but so have the hearts of the mothers, the women, the sisters, because we got to be out here. Our influence has to be obvious and continuous. And there's a lot of folks who are doing things. It's not saying we're starting something, no. We're fanning the flame that's already lit and encouraging others to come in and get involved. So if you're available, Saturday, 10 a.m., and at Mack and Fisher. It's all free. We ask, if you will, that you register on Eventbrite so that we can make sure we have food enough for everybody who's coming. But yeah, we're doing this in respect of our mothers. Piper's mom passed, and I'm grateful I was able to support her in that. My mom passed some years back, and the community supported us in that. And you know, we're going to, in their spirit, these women were doing things. We didn't pop up doing things just out of nowhere. We're an extension of what came before us and what we're pushing to come even stronger after us. So invite you all, but grateful. I appreciate you, Piper. I love you. And I appreciate you. I'm grateful to share space on this planet with you and so many of you. And looks like I got some people to meet out here. So looking to make those good connections.
So listen, I'm managing her as a mentor. So see me. If you need a mentor, I'm her manager. No, but so Mama and Gia, so when my mom passed away, rest her soul, Mama and Gia just was like, called me and was like, don't worry about anything, and just organized everything. So when we had the event, the Mama and Gia and Nina just organized the whole thing, because it was like just too much for me to even think about. I didn't have to think about anything. They just did everything. So just really appreciate that, you know.
Just the love, girl, every day. And we're here whatever, whenever. And I know you guys are those people. That's what makes the world go round. And no matter what they say, don't believe the hype. Very briefly, I was a videographer for a news station. I couldn't do it. I could not go out in the community and help them focus only on a problem when all this greatness was going on all around. And I would go and shoot that story, edit it, and prepare it for them. All they had to do was put it on. Well, no, and Gia, you know, we're focused on something else tonight. Oh, that was nice, though.
If it bleeds, it leads.
Hell yes. I mean, literally, I happened to pass by when older woman, her car slid into the river. And she had bumped her head on the steering wheel, so it was blood coming down. And we were in the, you know, so we stopped to catch the story. And I was trying to be respectful and stand back here because it happened that there was some EMS people right there doing something else, so they came to service her. So I'm trying to stand back. When I got back to the newsroom, the news director says, that was great. Man, you all were right there. You got right to it. But in Gia, next time you got to get closer because people really want to see the blood. They really want to see the blood. I was like, hell, I'm in the wrong space. I did not come here to be her. So, yeah, you know, that's... So y'all keep doing what you're doing. Do it the way you do it. Do it out your heart. Follow your own vibe. Don't let the turkeys get you down. Don't believe the hype. We have been bamboozled, miseducated, misled, confused. Even half the words we use don't even mean what we intend them to mean. So, you know, just continue. I really push that right now. I'm pushing that. I'm trying to really leave that legacy of young people who say, this looks stupid, it is stupid.
How can we contact you?
My manager. Love you, baby. Thank you.
So I want to shout out Javay. Javay is with Detroit Action, which is an organization that I'm with that does a lot of action in the streets. And is going to be running some political campaigns. Today was Lobby Day, and they were up at the Capitol lobbying for all of us to have the things that we need in this world. I'm going to bring somebody up now. I'm going to go ahead and bring up Aisha Ellis. So while Aisha Ellis is coming up here, I just want to plug her record again. And so this has been some time in the making. Well, I'm gonna let her tell this story, but this record, we went and picked it up from Archer Records today, so we're gonna put it on the socials tomorrow. And make sure you're talking to the mic.
Hey, everybody.
All right, so Aisha Ellis. Well, first I have to let people know. So me and Aisha went to high school together.
Yes.
I'm her elder.
Slightly, ever so slightly.
We danced together.
Yes.
We were on track team. We were in this youth program called Detroit Festival of the Arts with Kim Weston. She was in a music program with the Ernie Rogers, rest his soul. I was in dance program, but actually I was in dance with Miss Campbell. I was in vocal with Mickey Braden, and I was in drama. And ooh, they're gonna be mad. I forgot their names. But shouts out to you.
Yes, it's been a while.
It's been 30 plus years.
Yes.
So just really briefly, Detroit Festival of the Arts was a youth program that was here in Detroit that, well, now in Detroit, the youth employment program is called Grow Detroit Young Talent. It's only like 6 weeks. Ours was the entire summer. And we were placed, so you got placed all over the city, but the Festival of the Arts was placed with Motown legend Kim Weston.
And Dr. Teddy Harris.
And Dr. Teddy Harris, and shouts out Kim Weston, who's still with us. If you ever heard of It Takes Two, baby, she did with Marvin Gaye and all that, so that's Kim Weston. And so there were 13 creative workshops that you could choose from to be in. And because she had been in Motown and the Motown machine, most of them were from Motown. So we got trained to be professional artists from Motown artists, right?
Yep.
And so it was all the different workshops, and we had so much fun. We performed all over the city, and it really trained us to like be professionals in the arts. So I know we've been going to get that program reinstated for years, and I want to shout out Lady, who was in the program, who actually went and turned it into a 501c3, and so it's actually going to become a program, but it's in the making. But I wanted to shout you out, Lady. So thanks so much.
Yes, that was my favorite job.
Favorite job ever.
Like, that was the one job I was early for. Like, hands down. I was on the porch waiting on my ride, like, let's go. Because I needed to be there before the boys got there, because they wouldn't let me be on the drums. Like,
because you're music.
yeah, I was in a music workshop, and then I would go over to the dance workshop, like, because they would hog the drum set, and it would be like, I know how to dance too, fine. And I would be looking forward to the days when they didn't show up. So,
but
yes.
Aisha here is an amazing drummer and percussionist. And I am actually her manager.
She is my manager.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Facts.
so the Women in Hip Hop organization / company that we created, Aisha has been with me from the beginning. So we had an all-woman band called Yin that would perform once a month and would play like the samples that you would hear from the hip hop records. They would play the samples, and then the women or just different hip hop artists would come and freestyle over it. And it was a no misogyny open mic that lasted for about 5 years. We did it every week, and
Yep.
it was amazing. And so Aisha's been there from the beginning through all the evolutions of the evolutions. And then, the organization started out as a weekly, like I said, no misogyny open mic. It morphed into a collective of women performing, because everyone was it was kind of organic. So everyone would come, and then it'd be like, oh, let's work together. Let's make a song. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then that kind of morphed into different universities and different organizations calling me like, can y'all come perform? And me being like, y'all want to make some money? Let's go. and then we started getting a lot of press, and then it blew up. And then it blew up. So it blew up, and then it blew up. And so then fast forward, we did annual showcase that was at the Charles H. Wright Museum. We've done the retreat. But then this thing called the pandemic happened. And then, pandemic. And so then we were like,
Scamdemic.
okay, what do we do? Because like I started reaching out to the artists, like, what do we do? And then me and Aisha were just talking on the phone, and we were like, wow, we just can, like, it's kind of weird and crazy what's going on. And Aisha was like, no. So I asked her, I said, what's your vision for yourself? Like, since we're all have to start from scratch.
Man,
What's your
that was
vision?
crazy.
And what did you say?
Well, I was supposed to be going on a tour that, I had been waiting on for ever since the children were old enough. Like, they were finally old enough for me to go on this fantastic tour with American Music Abroad. And like I said, I've been waiting for years, like, okay, they're finally, the chickens are ready. Okay, I can go. And it was gonna be for a month long to 2 different countries, and I was just so excited and ready to go. And then the pandemic was like, guess what? Nobody's going nowhere. So, I was like, like a lot of people, blindsided, felt like you got gut punched and chopped in the throat, had to sit down, and so I had to just really kind of redefine what success looked like for me, and Piper and P Groove, they were trying to coax me out. Like, I was in the room, like, blazing, like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. What's it all for? And so they were just like, just come to the studio. Come on, just lay down some tracks. It's just going to be, it's like, okay, I guess I'll take a shower. Get out the house, go get in the sunlight. It was a weird time, I think, for, put the donuts down. Like, find something I could fit, because, COVID did us a number to, a lot of our sizes went up a little bit. So I came to the studio down in Submerge, and they just gave me such a free space to just come on and create. And I just started just getting on the drums and laying this track down and laying that track down. And I got with some other awesome artists to collaborate with, John Dixon keys, James Shelton keys, William Pope II on bass, and Deuce Christian guitar, and
DJ Dez.
DJ Dez came.
Congas.
Laid some
Deshaun
Jones. Oh my goodness! So it just started growing from an infant into a toddler, and like from a piece of bread to a sandwich. It just started growing into something really nice and beautiful, and I just started feeling that second wind again. Like, at this point, I'm like, I can't stop being a musician. I've been a musician over 30 years. Like, I had to realize that was my mental health. Like, even just with the children, it was like, mommy has to go play the drums because I don't want to hurt nobody. Pop you some popcorn, eat that, be back. Let me go do this. So I had to realize, like, drumming is just not something I like to do. Like, I have to do it, or I would have been in jail like a long time ago. So it's, you have that, and we are all drummers. If you have a heartbeat, you're a drummer, I mean, people thought I was nuts as a child because I banged my head and I hummed. Like, they were like, she's banging her head on the hip. What is, like, check your baby. But it was like truly ingrained. Like, I had that rhythm. And I heard music from everything. Everything was a sound of music. The way my dad walked up the stairs, he had this slow pace. The way the water dripped. Like, oh wow, did y'all hear that? Like, thought I was nuts, but I was just ingrained with music. I'm just, I am a musical note. I am the drum beat. So it's something that I have to do, and I love it. I love being a musician. I love being an artist. I love playing some keys and exploring what those sounds are like. Like, I'll be exploring more different sounds. Like, this album is just a start. This EP, this is not all of my sounds, So this is definitely a beginning, and I'm thankful and grateful. I'm excited and delighted that we birthed this. We birthed this album. It's like, wow, it happened. And so I couldn't even understand what was going to happen during that time when the pandemic was in process. I didn't know what can I do, and then we birthed that, and it was like, wow. And then I did a virtual concert. It was like, wow.
It's on YouTube, on the We Found Hip Hop YouTube. Check it out.
It's awesome. It's just, I just started growing more as an artist, and just like, well, what can I do? People will try to date you and all that's like time-wise, we're infinite, right? So I'm learning, like, don't date myself. I'm gonna make whatever sound that occurs to me to make. And I think everybody should explore your inner artist. Don't let anybody tell you what you cannot do. If you want to paint, if you want to organize flowers, do it. Okay? If you want to I don't care if you want to design shoestrings, do it. Do whatever occurs to you to do. You have to express yourself.
Well, also too, Aisha's like known for like being able to be in the pocket, right? And her talent is so, like, I couldn't like tell you how great her talent is. She is so amazing, and she's an amazing performer. She is funky. Aisha's funky, okay? She plays the djembe and a whole bunch of other instruments that I don't know the name of that sound cool. And Kari's giving us some signs, and I'm trying to act like I understand, but I don't. I know.
What's happening? What's coming?
And but Aisha's like super incredible. So for me, what I told Aisha is I'm marketing Aisha as a hip hop artist, because Aisha's heart is hip hop. This is a hip hop person right here. We're from the hip hop generation.
That's our generation.
And the vision I have for her is like a Questlove or Kareem Riggins.
Hey,
right?
I like
and
it.
So, or like Robert Glasper, right? And so this is her caliber category, right? I've reached out to some of my favorite DJs, like shouts out to Natasha Diggs. She hit me back. I told her I got some vinyl that I'm gonna send to her. She sent me her address, like, so I'm sending her. These are first people that are getting these. I reached out to DJ Spinna, Giles Peterson. Like, these are like, really amazing DJs that are world renowned, that are, are in this community. So we have, I think our first order is the 200 vinyls that we've ordered, and we already have orders for the 200. Like, thank you. We already have orders for the 200.
You ain't got to go home, but
right.
You got to.
So yeah, but I just wanted to shout out that we already have orders for this album, right? Like overseas, so like Europe, Japan, we've already got orders for this. It's gonna be in record stores, so you'll see it in the record stores. We have the QR code, so you can get it online. If you get it online, it'll be the digital version, but you want to get, this version. And if you're here today, Aisha could sign it for you.
I got you.
If you want to get your copy. So I think we wanted, so Kari said we got to go. But, I see Sarah and Verbena here. I wanted to shout them out because they're with an organization called Jericho, and Sarah's been on the show a couple of times. They work to uplift the stories of and hopefully free our political prisoners. Yes. And so wanted to give them lots of love because they're always in the street, fighting for our political prisoners. So thank y'all. They're part of the Detroit chapter of Jericho. So just want to appreciate y'all for coming through. And again, I want to shout out the U of M students. Oh wait, is that Mama Jara? Hold on. I gotta shout out Mama Jara. Detroit Sound Conservancy. Yes. Detroit Sound Conservancy, they are preserving many of the historical archives, right? And that's really important, to really preserve our archives, of our music, our musicians. Yes. And Mama Jara is also a wonderful storyteller. Yes. If that's a really important part of our African culture, yes, is the storytelling. And just want to appreciate you, Mama.
Yes.
And she's a brilliant musician, vocalist,
Yes.
and she's been on the show. She came on the show I think right after my mom passed away, and I think I was like trying to talk to her and cry at the same time. But Mama Jara is super amazing, community person, and just wanted to shout you out, Mama.
Yay.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zellen. She just did my baby's hair last Saturday. So beautiful.
Yeah, and then I wanted to shout out all of y'all and all the listeners. So I got to just do a couple of commercials before we go. So one thing is like, share, subscribe. And we're on YouTube, but we're also on like Spotify and Apple Music. What are all the other ones? Stitcher, iHeartRadio.
Twitch.
And
Definitely
YouTube, and I can't remember all of them, but I think those are the main ones. So also, too, we have a Patreon, and I'm striving to get more people to be, on the Patreon.
Yes.
Well, how about, I should say more people. I'm trying to get somebody be on a Patreon. Somebody sign up for my Patreon. Please. No, but I guess for me, I really want to work to do some of these other models because I don't mind. I mean, I really don't want to have commercials unless it's like something I believe in, because I don't want to like have a podcast where I'm talking about all the stuff I want to talk about and then over here
Alice.
try to sell something that I don't believe in. So, the Patreon would, really support. And that's gonna be my retirement plan. So, So also too, on all the socials, Piper Carter Podcast. We're on Instagram. There's a Facebook group and there's a Facebook page. The group, I'm really working so that we can have more conversations in the group and then hear from folks and let us know things you want to talk about or have debates, And also to want to get more people to talk to us and let us know stuff that you want us to talk about, right? Because we want to talk about things that you want to talk about. And then we got to shout out all the Detroit is different. There's and we have a website, pipercarterpodcast.com. There is a website where all this stuff exists. And so there's the Detroit is different. Detroit is Different has a blog, which is detroitisdifferent.com, where Kari writes all these different cool stories. But the podcast is on detroitisdifferent.net. But it's also on YouTube. It's also on Instagram and Facebook. And, you can find out about all the things that Kari's doing and all the stuff that Detroit is Different is doing. And listen to the different podcasts. I know that Josh Adams is going to have his 5th year anniversary coming up. T-Barb's going to have hers. I know they're going to do it at the Comedy Shop, or I'm saying the whole name wrong. Sorry, I didn't get the marketing correct on that. But just check the Detroit is Different for where that's going to be. And then as far as Piper Carter Podcast, I'm really working to have more guests. And P. Groove is really trying to encourage me to do more talking to the camera. So I'm going to do the best I can to try to start doing some shows like that. It might be a little awkward at first. Where
You got this.
I don't know. We'll see. But I definitely wanted to shout back out my family for coming out. Love y'all. Can you give them some more love? I really appreciate them because if y'all know, if my mom was here, my mom would be here, and telling all my business. But but I'm glad my family was here, and I'm glad that the community came out. All the people that that I love, that love me back, came out. Appreciate y'all, and my co-hosts, and all the community members. And wanted to shout out Kari. Where did Kari go? Because he was telling me to hurry up.
Back there telling us you ain't got to go home. But
and all the listeners and everyone that's listened to and liked and shared, but everyone that's listening that joined the live stream, want to appreciate you. And Kari, did you want to come back up and give us the, you can't give us the Russell Simmons because he's problematic. You got to give the, everybody's problematic. Man, our whole childhood is flushed down the toilet. Everybody we used to love. Okay, but you can give us the Kari Frazier.
All right, so a couple different things. Thank you all for definitely coming out, experiencing this with Piper. Give it up for Piper. Definitely. Good faces. We're gonna do more stuff like this. Definitely connecting to Detroit is different. If you're walking out, hit the QR code. It's not much time, but it's gonna be some cool events we're doing with a lot of studio. Detroit is different. I want to add this as well, just house notes. Piper said if you want to leave, well, it's really not a lot of time, but leave an email address. Leave an email address if you want to stay connected. If you connected with us through Eventbrite, we've captured that information, so we have that to move forward. Also, big information. If you parked in the lot like myself, meaning like if you drove through those gates and stuff like that, you're going to need a parking pass, because if not, you're going to be standing there looking at the lot like, I ain't never coming to this stuff again, all right? So we have parking passes for everyone if you parked in that lot. Other than that, you guys about to hear us turn up some music for a second, then we're going to be striking this equipment. So catch us in passing.
Oh, and if y'all want to purchase an album,